Welcome to the Underground, the Steel City Underground, the black and gold standard for Pittsburgh Steelers coverage. Now, here's your host, Brian E. Roach.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Steel City Underground video podcast. My name is Brian E. Roach. I'd like to remind you of our sponsor, StubHub. Take a night off from a night in. Find great tickets to great events. To get more information, go over to steelcityunderground.com / tickets. So, now that we've gotten business out of the way, because you know this is the time of year when everything is about business. It's about doing business. And the business at hand is going to take place maybe on Monday and maybe not. We're all going to be kind of sitting on the edge of our seats wondering if Le'Veon Bell is going to sign a long-term deal. And there's been a lot of speculation about this, right? There's been a lot of talk. I've done some articles on it. We've talked about it on other podcasts. And I wanted to do one more round of this to try and make sure everybody understands the difficulties that are going to go along with making this contract. I mean, the beat writers have written about this. Other news sites have written about this. People have been talking about it. It's much more complicated than it first appears. And here's the thing. It's not always about the total package. In other words, it's not necessarily all about his annual salary per year. It's also not just about the guaranteed money, although that probably weighs more than the annual salary. But it is kind of a combination of both. Don't think that there's not an ego thing that goes along with wanting to be one of the highest paid or the highest paid running back in the league. But, here's the bottom line on numbers, right? If Bell does nothing, right, doesn't sign a long-term deal and is going to play this year, which I believe he's going to play this year. I don't think there's going to be any holdout. There's absolutely no benefit to Le'Veon Bell to hold out. But if he doesn't sign a long-term contract, he makes $12.2 million this year, which would make him the highest paid running back in the league by close to $4 million, if not over $4 million. The thing is, that's all guaranteed money, right? Soon as that tender is signed, which it isn't yet, but as soon as it is, that's guaranteed money. It's all going against the cap for the Steelers. It's factored in. It's guaranteed, right? Then we get to, let's say he does that, and he gets all through this year, right? Has a great season, or maybe even just a mediocre season, but a good enough season, a Le'Veon-type season, right? If that happens, then we get to next year. Now, what are we going to do next year? If we haven't been able to sign him to a long-term deal in between now and next offseason, maybe they franchise him again. And if they do franchise him again, that probably puts that number up closer to 14.5. Again, if they do that, that's all guaranteed money. Now, take those two numbers, right? If Le'Veon does nothing but forces the hand of the Steelers to guarantee him 2 years on the franchise tag, he is going to be guaranteed $26 million. It wouldn't be surprising to think Le'Veon is attempting to get that much money guaranteed in a contract that is a long-term contract. Here's the up and down of this, right? The Steelers do not tend to do guaranteed numbers, right? You look at Ben's contract, you look at AB's contract, you look at past contracts, Pouncey's contracts, even Cam Hayward's. The Steelers will give you guaranteed money up front as a signing bonus. That is how they operate. It allows them to prorate that signing bonus over the length of the contract. It allows them to give some level of guaranteed money, and it protects the Steelers down the road in the event that they feel they have to part ways with the player. Okay. So they're not going to give Le'Veon Bell a guaranteed contract because they don't do guaranteed contracts. And if he is insisting on guaranteed contracts, on guaranteed numbers for the year, that the money in the contract has a certain portion of guaranteed money, well, it's not going to happen. And he's going to end up playing on the franchise tag. So, the flip side of that is, okay, you said the Steelers don't do guaranteed money, but they do it through signing bonuses. Why can't they give him a signing bonus? Well, if you're Le'Veon Bell and you're thinking, I can get $26 million guaranteed if I play this year under franchise and next year under franchise, And then after that, if I've done 2 productive, great years, I can go out and get paid big time, and some other foolish team out there will give me guaranteed money. The Steelers aren't still not going to do it, and they can't franchise him again. So if you're Le'Veon, why would you take less than $26 million guaranteed dollars, right? Let's put that in perspective. When Roethlisberger signed his contract last time around, he got $31 million guaranteed. When Antonio Brown just recently, right, signed his contract, he got $19,000 in his signing bonus. That's it. That's the guaranteed money. Now, you're going to give Le'Veon $7 million more than you gave AB? How is that going to swim? How is that going to fly, right? You got to think about this, again, in perspective. $26 million, and I'm looking at a chart right here. $26 million in guaranteed money would put Le'Veon Bell at the 12th position in signing bonuses. If it was all signing bonus, which we're talking about, that's what the Steelers do, signing bonuses, right? So if they gave him a $26 million signing bonus, that would be the 12th largest signing bonus. It would put him just below Matt Stafford and just above the money that Fletcher Cox, or just above Fletcher Cox. I misspoke. 11th. He would be 11th. You're talking about being in a position where quarterbacks normally are. If you go down this, there's a list out there that you can find on sporttrack.com that gives you all the signing bonuses and where they stand. Right, top of the list is you're going to love this, Joe Flacco with his $40 million signing bonus, because you know the Ravens are so smart in contract negotiations. Really, was it worth the $40 million, guys? Was it? I don't think so. Second is Aaron Rodgers at 33, Andrew Luck at 32, Eli at 31, Ben at 31, Russell Wilson at 31, Drew Brees. Do you get a sense of what I'm talking about? They're quarterbacks. Quarterbacks are the guys that are going to get those kind of signing bonuses, not running backs. The highest signing bonus for a running back on this list is way down the list, and guess who it is? Leonard Fournette, a rookie this year. You don't get them. Why? Because veteran running backs have wear and tear. Le'Veon Bell has not played a full season yet. Le'Veon Bell has either been suspended or injured every year. The Steelers are almost certainly not going to give him quarterback level guaranteed money in a signing bonus. That would go against the way they do business. And the Steelers have shown that they are more than willing to let players walk if they can't get it to fit in with way they do business. It also should be noted that Mike Tomlin famously once said that he would run Willie Parker until the wheels fell off. And he, in fact, did exactly that. Le'Veon Bell has had an inordinate amount of carries in the last 2 seasons. The Steelers use him extensively. And there's no reason to think they won't continue to do that. If you're going to pay that kind of money to a running back, you're going to use him until the wheels fall off. And once Le'Veon's wheels fall off, he's not going to get paid the way that he wants to get paid anymore, right? I mean, Willie Parker got a nice contract. They ran him to death. He got hurt, and that was about it. He was out of the league, right? So, you know, it's those kind of complexities, right, that play into all of this. And the bottom line is, you know, Monday is the last day. So Monday, you know, we've already gotten through all this time, even some of the extra time that the NFL granted for extending the period when they can work out, you know, a long-term deal. And it's end of day Monday, end of business Monday, I believe. Or maybe it might be midnight. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. But whatever it is, it's Monday. Once we get to Tuesday, forget the long-term deals this year. The only thing he can play under is franchise tag. That's it. Now, there's some good news in all of this. The good news is that Le'Veon can't go anywhere else this year, right? He is restricted in that sense. The only team Le'Veon Bell can play for this year and probably next year is the Pittsburgh Steelers. The only way he can get out of that is if the Steelers were to trade him. Like if he decided he was going to work out a deal with another team and, you know, figured out how to sit. But I don't think he can do that right now because he's a restricted free agent. He's got the franchise tag on him. You know, unless the Steelers could work a trade that forced him to sign the franchise tag and then they avoided it and they worked out a deal that another team was going to take. They're not going to do that. First of all, nobody's trading for Le'Veon Bell. They're not going to give up what the Steelers are going to want to get him. So that's a ridiculous idea. But it's not. So that's not going to happen. And the Steelers are not going to pay him $26 million in guaranteed money. My jaw would hit the floor if they did that, right? It would be so out of character for them. And here's the thing. When you think of the games Le'Veon has missed, right, where they've had a full complement of the rest of the team. Last year, okay, they were hurt beyond Le'Veon's issues when they played the Patriots in the championship game, right? They didn't have a true second wide receiver, so they didn't have a full complement of weapons, right? But if you look back at games where Le'Veon has missed games and they've had a full complement of weapons, they've done just fine. They've done just fine, okay? On the flip side, if they lose Ben, they have not done just fine. That being said, so the Steelers have to look at this as if, can we still win without Le'Veon Bell? And the answer is maybe. They certainly have a better chance of winning without Le'Veon Bell than they do without Ben. Okay? Le'Veon is an important cog. They have a much better chance of maximizing the opportunity they have in front of them and getting to the Super Bowl and winning number 7 if Le'Veon is on the team. He's a dynamic playmaker. The thing is, he ain't everything. Okay? He is not the end-all be-all for the offense. They have options outside of him. And while they're not perfect, and it would be much better if he was there, if he's not, he's not. And this all ties into other contract negotiations that may or may not be going on. I think the Steelers, quite frankly, have to resolve the issue with Le'Veon. They need to know, is it going to be franchise tag or did we work out a deal? I think that they would love to get a long-term deal in place to get salary cap relief, which would then allow them to do a better deal with Alejandro Villanueva, extend Stephon Tuitt, and look at people like Ryan Shazier down the road. They're going to need that flexibility. And having right now a sense of uncertainty, we don't know whether Le'Veon's going to be franchised. We don't know whether he's going to sign a long-term deal. Until that's concrete right now, they can't move forward with anything else. So, we've all decried, why haven't they given Alejandro Villanueva a contract? What's taking so long with the money for him? If he doesn't sign for the $650,000, he won't play this year. What happens? What's the deal there? And here's the thing. Alejandro Villanueva, because his circumstance is different than Le'Veon Bell's, can still negotiate after tomorrow. I'm pretty positive that's correct. Whereas Le'Veon can't. Alejandro Villanueva can. So they can't make progress on those other types of contracts until they have some solidity around what is Le'Veon going to hit us with this year. If they can get some salary cap relief this year and boost that number up, although I think they have something like $15 million in space right now, but if they can get some more, then they can look at somebody like Alejandro Villanueva and they can give him a decent signing contract with a nice signing bonus and move forward, right? And they can get him locked up. They can maybe look at Stephon Tuitt and extending him and get him locked up. But they can't do that until they know what the deal is with Le'Veon because they don't know what they're going to need, right? So there's that kind of trial and tribulation involved. So right now, anybody who's looking for a contract extension from the Steelers is being held hostage by whatever is going on with Le'Veon Bell's contract. Nobody else is going to get any progress made until Le'Veon Bell's is settled. That may be the way it should be, but it certainly is part of the problem, right? And I've said for almost a month, I don't think he's going to sign because I don't. I don't think he's going to sign a long-term deal right now. I don't think he thinks it's in his best interest. I don't think his agent thinks it's in his best interest. And frankly, they both may be right. Okay. If I'm Le'Veon Bell, I only have a limited amount of time to get paid to make maximum dollars, right? He's 25, 26. He's got maybe 5 solid years. Once he hits 29, 30, that's kind of like, if you're going along and you see either steady increase or maybe slight decreases going, once you hit that number for a running back, 29, 30, whoo, that's the cliff, baby. That's the cliff. You're off the cliff. That's it. It's over. The amount of drop off for running backs at that age is very big. They simply do not have that long of a lifespan in the NFL. They take too much abuse, their bodies get banged up, and Le'Veon's already showing signs of that. I mean, he has been injured, like I said, last 2-3 years. He's been an injury, so he's missed games due to injury. He's missed games due to suspension, and the suspension. Look, I hate the whole marijuana is an unacceptable substance, and I got into a conversation with my neighbor about this because his opinion is, if I'm making $22 million or $8 million or $5 million a year, I think I could not smoke weed so that I could get paid. If the option is don't get paid, I get it, but I'm also of the opinion that opioids, we have this huge opioid problem, right? And opioids are bad, and to give these guys for pain all of these narcotics that are extremely addictive is also bad and wrong. And if they can get relief from smoking a little weed, let them smoke the damn weed. I know it's illegal in some places, in most places still. I get it. That's just me. All right. But the bottom line is, right now it's still legal in the NFL. Okay. Still legal in most of the country, and it's definitely banned in the NFL. So they don't really have that option, even though I think it's ridiculous and they probably should. They don't. So the bottom line there is, again, if Le'Veon fails something or gets his alarm clock not set right or gets it screwed up so he misses test, if he does something to foul up that process, he's gone again for an extended period of time. Yes, as we once said before, it is not as a year. He's really in the same situation he was the last time around, which is like a 4-game suspension, but might be 4 to 6. I don't remember what the new rulings are. It's not a full year, but it's still a good portion of games, and that impacts the Steelers and how much they're willing to guarantee to him, right? Here's what I assume, and I don't know. I have no inside knowledge of what the Steelers may or may not have offered Le'Veon. As much as I keep saying Art calls me all the time to discuss these things with me, he does not. No, maybe he should, but he doesn't. I think it's probably reasonable to assume that they've offered him somewhere in the neighborhood of the guaranteed signing bonus that they gave Antonio Brown, which again was, I think, $19 million. Okay, so let's say they offered him 19. Let's say that it was the same. Let's even just say that it's the same number, $19 million. They offered him, if they offered him $19 million as a signing bonus, and then maybe a contract that equates up to $50 million for 4 years. That's not terrible, is it? It's close to 12. It's above $12 million a year. So I make it $50 million for 5 years. So it's $10 million a year average, and he's guaranteed $19 million. If I'm Le'Veon Bell, I would take that deal. But then again, I'm Poe, and I don't make that kind of money. And you could offer me $1 million guaranteed, and I would take that deal, right? Because different lives, different perspectives. I get it. It's the difference of $7 million, really, right? It's the $26 million he might be able to get guaranteed if he's franchised 2 years versus, say, $19 million or maybe less, because that's only if they match what they gave AB. And quite frankly, AB has been more productive than Le'Veon Bell and more consistent and more, team-oriented. Let's say that's an unfair statement. I take that back. Le'Veon's been team-oriented. That's wrong. But consistency, yes, AB has definitely been more consistent. And he waited to get his contract renegotiated and waited to get his contract renegotiated, and he did the right things, and eventually it paid off for him, right? Le'Veon, you're talking about, this is off of his rookie contract. This is his first chance. It doesn't always work that way. And yeah, it's difference between a running back and a wide receiver. So the bottom line with this is I don't expect him to sign. I expect him to play under the franchise tag this year. And the downside of that is I don't know if that means, I would bet that means that both Alejandro Villanueva and Stephon Tuitt don't get done. Maybe Al gets done, or maybe Tuitt gets done. They both won't get done because that's too much guaranteed money going to one player. If you then have to play him under that same situation next year at 14.5, yes, the salary cap will go up again, and they'll get that kind of thing, and at least they don't have any dead money, right? Because it's all guaranteed, whatnot, the franchise money. So there's no dead money there, but that will hamstring them a little bit even down the road if they know the only way we're keeping Le'Veon under contract is 14.5. It's a franchise. So it's not just him that this impacts. It's how they're going to move forward with other players as well. And remember, let's say that Martavis, MB, has an explosive year this year. He's under contract for 2 more years, but then he's going to be due. So, we got a lot of guys with a lot of talent. And one way or another, we got to figure out how to keep them in the fold and pay them to maximize the time that we have Ben in as a quarterback. And it's going to be tough. I don't, egos play a bit of a role here. Some people don't think so, but I do. I think there is something to be said that a guy who believes he's the best running back in the league, and very well may be, certainly the best all-around running back in the league, wants to be paid more than anybody else. I get it. If I was the best software designer in the world, I would want to get paid more than any other software designer. You want to be paid your value, your worth. I get it. But there is a disconnect between what I think sometimes players value themselves at and what teams value themselves at. And the Steelers have already shown that they do not place the same value at the running back position that they do at wide receiver, that they do at quarterback, that they do at maybe even linebacker, defensive end. So, how is this going to play out? I don't know. But I don't think that at the end of tomorrow, we have a signed contract with Le'Veon Bell. I won't say it's impossible. Maybe somebody, breaks through and they get it in their head that this is the right thing to do and it's the best solution for him. Maybe that happens. Somehow I don't think so. I think it stays the way it is. And he ends up playing on the franchise tag. Now, just for reference, when Cam Hayward signed his deal, $12 million signing bonus. That was his guaranteed money. $12 million. So, you're talking a huge difference in what can be played around. And yes, they can do different things with roster bonuses in year 1 and roster bonuses in year 2 to try and make up some of that guaranteed money. But, as I said, they're not going to give him guaranteed years on the contract, A, because he hasn't proven he can play a full year injury-free, and B, there's the question of potential suspension. And at running back, it's tough to guarantee that. They're certainly not going to guarantee the late end of that contract. And Le'Veon's probably not going to want the contract back-ended, right, so that all the money is coming at the end. So what are we going to do? I think by the end of the day tomorrow, we will have Le'Veon playing under the franchise tag. That's my prediction. And by the way, tomorrow meaning Monday, whatever day that may be. But Monday night, I think Le'Veon is franchised. And that's where he plays in 2017. It's hard to project to 2018, but I would venture to say that if he plays 2017 at franchise tag, he's playing 2018 in franchise tag, and that may be the last we see of Le'Veon Bell in the black and gold. We will see. We'd all like to keep him here forever. We'd like him to be a Steeler for life. I have met Le'Veon a couple times. He is a very cool guy. I like him as a person. He was, as I said, the big criteria, he was really nice to my daughter. And since he was nice to Emily, he's getting a thumbs up from me. So, I hope it all works out. I'm just not confident at all. Just as a reminder, as we close this out, I want to let you guys know we have fan mail stuff. We have a couple questions pending on fan mail. It's fanmail@steelcityunderground.com, or you can leave stuff in the comments. As we get closer to training camp, hopefully this picks up. I'm hoping to do another fan mail podcast in about another week or week and a half. I don't want to do it with only one question because it will be really short. So let's see where things go from there. You can also call our hotline or text the hotline if you have questions. Or as I said, just post them in the comments. It's getting close, less than 2 weeks until camp. And the best news of all is hopefully after tomorrow we won't have to worry about contracts, at least Le'Veons. We still have to worry about owls, but we won't have to worry about Le'Veons for another year. So until next time, everyone, be good, be safe, and go Steelers.
We would like to thank you for listening and remind our listeners to follow us on social media and our website, www.steelcityunderground.com.